Hey guys, my name is Maria Park, and this is Approach to Nerd, and I am here with my very good friend, Quarter Life Jam, who also has a channel on YouTube with the same exact name. You should subscribe to it. Not right now, but as soon as we're done. And
Yeah,
this
just later.
exactly. This week we are starting this series we decided to do called Freaky Weekly, where we take horror movies and we pretty much talk about them podcast style. And our first movie that we have decided to do, if you see above the hashtag, it is hashtag alive. The brand new Netflix movie from South Korea, zombie movie, no doubt, because you know they do really good zombie movies in Korea, that is all the rage. It's beating Peninsula, I heard, in South Korean theaters, and somehow we have it at Netflix. I don't know what's going on with that, but hey,
We're very
whatever.
advanced here.
We are. So, to jump right in, let's talk about the plot of this wonderful movie. I'm going to try and say the names, so I will not put Jam under the bus because I'm the one married to a Korean American. So when I butcher these names, you can come at me. I mean, just because you're married to a Korean American doesn't mean you can say the names, but, you know, just bear with me. Um, so the story basically revolves around a guy named Jun Oh, who is played by an actor named Hye-won. He's very popular in South Korea. He is playing games. He just got up from a nap, I guess. His parents and his sister decided to go out. He's online, playing, it looked like an RPG game. It could have been something like League of Legends, who knows? But he was playing a game, and they're just chatting along, and then all of a sudden, one of the people that he's in game with says, "Oh, is this real?" So that already clued us in something was about to go down. And then he gets over to the TV on the news. They start talking about people going rabid and attacking each other, and not even 1 second later, people are being rabid and attacking each other outside of his apartment, and he's on the 7th floor of this apartment building. So his parents are gone. His sister is gone. He has no groceries, and he has to survive a zombie outbreak of unknown origin, pretty much alone, which is my nightmare. So I will say, Jam, and I think you said this to me too when we were talking about it on the phone. I think in Marco Polo or on the phone. I thought it was interesting how fast they jumped into that zombie, the zombie scene.
It was so quick. I expected some kind of like long drawn out like it just slowly starts ramping up. It's like, oh yeah, there's a few people outside, going crazy and nothing to worry about. The news says it's just a few wackos and then but no, it completely went from him playing the game to like it shutting off and then going to the news, and he looks out of the window and there are just people running and screaming and people are eating each other. And you're like, whoa, there was no time at all.
It
So
really
that was
wasn't.
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. Like, I mean, dude was asleep. I mean, he was like passed out, got up, probably took a crap, logged on his computer, then bam, it just went like that. I mean, but
Yeah.
the pacing of this movie is interesting because it was fast in the beginning, but then it was slow the rest of the movie. So it's like they put all of
Hmm.
the really fast paced stuff in the first 5 minutes of the movie, which I'm not hating on it, but how
I
about we
guess they
can
just really want to let you know, oh, yeah, there are zombies. Let's get this out of the way.
Yep. Well, there is another movie this reminds me of, and it's a French movie. It's called The Night Eats the World, and basically it's almost the same concept. This guy goes to like a party, and he goes to the apartment, and he ends up waking up after everybody's turned into zombies, and he's just trying to figure out how to survive. And this is very similar to this movie, and I am a big zombie genre lover. I love Dawn of the Dead. I love Romero films. I love the trilogy. I love B-rated stuff like Z Nation. Yes, I love Z
Yeah.
Nation. Come at me. So this for me, I was really nervous seeing this because The Train to Busan was such a very, very good movie. I mean, for me, that's probably my
Mhm.
favorite zombie movie is Train to Busan. I love Kingdom, also on Netflix, which is a very good period. I think it's the Joseon era zombie series, which
Funny
Haven't.
enough, not have seen Kingdom yet. I've seen it on Netflix. I just haven't watched it yet. It's in the queue.
You have to watch that. It is amazing. Season 3 actually got announced, so we're getting a season 3. So it's very, very good. So this one had a lot of competition in my mind. You know, it had to really compete against a lot of very, very well done zombie movies and dramas. And honestly, I kind of liked it. There were some things that stood out. I'll start because I know you probably have a few. One of the things I noticed were that the zombies were intelligent. You know, kind of like Land of the Dead, the Romero film. Like, it's almost like they remembered their previous lives, because there's a scene where there's another character. Let me try and say her name. She's played by Park Shin-hye, Kim Yoo-bin. And Kim Yoo-bin like is throwing this rope, or she has this rope tied to a baseball, and she tries to throw it across to Juno, and it doesn't make it. It hits the ground, and then you see like this zombie firefighter, and he picks it up, and he's like, "Hey, this is a rope. I can climb up here and eat your ass." Like, and I'm like, wow, these zombies are smart. They're in trouble.
Yeah, I think that was highlighted in one of the news segments where they were talking about how some zombies have almost kind of like retained their knowledge of their previous life. And so you saw zombies like trying to open doors, like literally just like grabbing a handle, opening door, which for me, my soul would leave my body.
I would literally lose my shit. Yep.
And with the zombie, you were talking about, the one who was a firefighter, when he turned and looked and was like, "I got you now." Like, whoa.
It's almost like he had a zombie smile. Like he was smiling. And he was like climbing up there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was so much intent, and you don't like expect that from, I guess, a zombie movie.
No, because we were used to zombies being slow. I mean, yeah, when they get to you, especially in like groups or packs, you're screwed. But like the whole premise is you are supposed to be smarter than the zombie. But that's not the case in this one. This one, they're not. They are very intelligent zombies. So whatever virus made them rabid and cannibalistic did not affect their brains entirely. So they have a lot of, I want to say, common sense. Even so more than our titular character, because I kind of felt like at times Chun-woo was not very bright. Like he was an idiot.
There was a point where he saw a guy on a phone trying to get reception, and he was holding his phone out with a selfie stick, and he leans over the balcony and the guy falls to his death. And he tries the exact same thing, trying to get reception. And I'm just like, what? You just saw? So do you have survival instincts, or do you not have survival instincts? Because that's a very dumb move.
Yeah. Well, something else I thought was interesting is with Kim Yoo-bin, she didn't make herself known to him like until he was basically about to hang himself, and then she does like the laser pointer and then like points to the Hangul and basically starts talking to him, which, by the way, she had some good binoculars to be doing all that with the laser. But and I'm like, what were you doing all this time? Why didn't you just like open the blinds, be like, hey, what's up, give bro some give him some hope.
What that implies, though? It implies that she's just been watching him this entire time. And just waiting, because she literally waited until he like hung himself, but his blinds have been open just about this entire time. He's been out there. So what were you doing? Like you said.
Well, he did. I know at one point he did put like color paper to cover the window. So he did do that a little bit, but he ended up just ripping it down. But he did things that were interesting. Like, I know they were out of emotion, because quite frankly, we don't know how we would react if we were in that situation, to be honest. You're by yourself. You don't have any groceries because apparently your parents didn't go to the store and you didn't go to the store. Well, so I
think his parents went out to go get groceries, and then like they just didn't return because of the zombies. I thought
they went on a trip and he didn't want to go. Because remember, in the beginning, I think the mother even said, "Go and buy groceries." Because then he
buy groceries.
And he does say in there, "I guess I should have listened to you." But I mean, when would he have been able to listen? Because I mean, the zombie apocalypse happened like that. He got the messages in, played the game, and bam. So he would have been in the store when it broke out. So it's a good thing he wasn't going grocery shopping, as far as I'm concerned. But like when he realized his parents and his sister were dead, like, because he got to hear the voicemail when he was leaning over, and like he like goes out the door, he's like, come on zombies. I'm like, dude, you just saw them drag that cop, the lady cop, and how they did that stuff was methodical. Like they drug her to the other zombies for them to literally just share. And
he tried to yell at him and stuff, and they basically looked at him like, we're not paying attention to you. We have dinner right now.
Yeah, but it did attract the one of the bigger zombies that was on the 7th floor, and like, remember, he like busted the door, and like he had that refrigerator against the door, and like he was so strong, he just like pushed the refrigerator down. I was like, wow, that's what freaked me out. And I'm really glad that the zombies gave him time to fix the door. That was very considerate.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, I mean, even because it's so weird, because he was hammering the wood between the door.
Yep.
But as you can tell from the rest of the movies, like, those small noises like that attracted them. So what happened to the rest of the zombies?
Exactly.
Like, where were they?
Well, and didn't it say they had heightened senses like sight and smell? So like, why weren't they smelling him when he was in the hallway hiding behind like the little wall area when the zombies were walking by? I'm like, shouldn't they be smelling you right now? And I know we're nitpicking, but it's just what we do. It's not that we didn't like this movie. We have to point things out that are like, wait, what? So that's what we're doing right now. But I did have questions about that. So let's talk about, let's say it again. Jun Bae-soo. He was the crazy guy on the 8th floor. So in the movie, Kim Yoo-bin, she can see the 8th floor, and she's always looking at the 8th floor, and she never saw a zombie on the 8th floor. So she's convinced that the zombies are not on the 8th floor, because she's never seen them up there. So they come up with a plan for her to basically go over to his building, because she's in the building across from him, and they're going to go up to the 8th floor where they feel it's safe. That whole scene, though, was amazing to me, because homegirl, she
was getting it out that door.
She was like,
or out the. She left. She was like, yeah, I'm leaving, but not through the front door. I'm like, okay.
She literally leapt off the balcony.
You're a bad mofo right now. Go ahead.
And she like goes to this car, and the zombies are like coming. So she goes into the car, and they go into the car, and she gets out the other door. And I'm like, okay. But I was impressed that Juno came to help her. So, he got some brownie points. I was a little
confused because I saw him lower down the makeshift, I guess it was like cloth material, whatever he was lowering down, like sheets. Yeah. And I'm wondering, did he climb down?
Yeah, they don't really say. Yeah, that's a good point. Because if he had come down the elevator, he should have been eaten. like as soon as he left the first floor, he should have been like. We just saw him outside, so we actually don't know how he got outside. Yeah, so I guess that's the thing.
I just assume he climbed down some sheets, like an old school kind of getaway villain climbing down them.
But I mean, from the 7th floor, you'd have to have a lot of damn sheets to be climbing down. So, and with a family of 4, I don't know how that's possible. Plus, when did he have time to do it? She jumped. Exactly. He didn't know she was going to jump. So no, I guess I'm just assuming somehow he made it down the stairs, out the elevator, and out the door without being eaten.
Earlier we did see him jump from one of when the big zombie came, and he jumped down and caught himself on the ledge, and the zombie fell over. So I'm guessing maybe he just monkey climbed his way. Who knows? Apparently he has that skill.
Well, then they also had to go back into the building, so they were beating stuff, and then somehow, I guess maybe the landing was clear. They got to the elevator up to the 8th floor, and that is where we meet our crazy ass. His name is Jun Bae-soo.
Which, can I just say for a moment, what kind of, not him, but what kind of plan, was that in the first place? Because you think, there are zombies everywhere. You think they're drawing the line on the 8th floor?
Well, not only that, and this is just me just saying this out loud. So in Korea, I know that you have to have these key cards. And if you don't have that card, that door is not opening. You can't put a key in there. There is either a code or a key card to get in. So think of it like a hotel bedroom. You're not getting in that room. So even if they get to the 8th floor, how the hell are they getting into one of the rooms? They don't have a key card. You know what I mean? And then it also, I'm also going to add on to that later when we talk about the ending of the movie. I had another question and my mind just went back to that because when they tried all these doors were locked.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean there aren't people in there?
Great. Well, because also they broke into one of the doors, just like broke into one of the rooms, whatever, fine, cool. But then early on, you see him take a key from one of the deads or one of the zombies and use it. And I'm like, well, what what kind of magic is that later on for you, like breaking into something so where the door is just like magically open for you because they're frantically trying to open the door? It's like, well, I mean, you can't because there's a key card and these doors are strong.
Yep, they were very strong doors. So that was very inconsistent for me and weird. But so they're on the 8th floor, and then they realize, oh shit, there are zombies. Not only is there a zombie that they originally saw, there is a horde of zombies on this floor. So they make it down. They're knocking on all the doors, trying to get into all these different, doors. And then one opens and grabs, I think they grab the girl first.
Yeah.
And then he gets in, and then the guy blasts with I'm assuming it was a fire hydrant. I wasn't paying too much attention. I think he did.
No, it was, they were smoke bombs.
They were smoke bombs, you're right. So they threw the smoke bomb out. So then they're safe. Now, Kim Yoo-bin is like me. I ain't trusting people. Like, you just open the door and let me in. Why? Why did you put your life at risk to save me? Now, one could argue that, hey, the guy, he's been alone all this time, so, he wanted company, and that's why he saved them. But if you've watched The Walking Dead, Z Nation, or any shows like that, that's a lie. So
if you watch Bird Box, that's a lie. Any horror movie where there's like a pandemic or monster or zombies, just don't trust people.
No. I mean, we're not trying to be mean people, but no, we're in a zombie apocalypse. Why did you open the door? I mean, I just need to know this. Why is the door open? And also, and I guess, I don't know if they were trying to make it obvious or not, but, he's like, you want to eat this food? He gave them, food. And of course, I understand this because I had a British mother. If you've not been raised with Spam, you don't get it. But Spam is an Asian and UK delicacy. People love Spam. And so it made perfect sense to me that Jun-woo was the first thing he wanted was to eat Spam. I mean, I get that. But, like, you're taking this man's food. Now, this man is holed up in this apartment with limited food too, and he just took on 2 extra mouths to feed. Yeah, that's a little shady. So Kim Yoo-bin was like me. She's like this. I'm eating this.
She looked at poor John O. Sorry, yeah. John O. Well, I'm not Korean. Sorry, guys. But she looked at him like, why are you trusting this man? Yeah. Do not eat that stuff. And I feel the same way.
I was like, well, then he did that whole little, he gave them water. And so, of course, Jun-oh starts drinking it. And she's looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, come on. So she starts drinking it, and then they start talking. And that's when she starts looking around the room, and she sees a picture of, a man, a woman, and a child. And she's like, oh, is this your family? And you see like, baby bottles and stuff nearby. And he's like, is this your family? Do you have any kids? He's like, no. He said, but some kids showed up. And then when he said that, I was like, oh, crap. And then the room, you start seeing them like they're about to pass out. I'm like, he drank that damn water. I said, girl, Kim Yoo-bin, you knew not to drink that stuff, and you drank it because of peer pressure, and now, look, you are screwed. Like,
look at what happens when you don't pay attention to your first mind, your instinct.
Yes, listen to yourself, girl. And so, of course, the girl who was being the paranoid one, like us, was the one the crazy man decided he was going to feed to his zombified wife that he had, like, literally locked in a baby nursery, and that makes me have so many questions. Did she eat the baby that was in there too? Because I mean, as far as I can tell, I don't think that was their original apartment. So the family either got eaten by them or they weren't there, and they took over this apartment, and he just had his wife just like her on all her zombie glory, literally locked in this room, this baby nursery, and then dragged poor Kim Yoo-bin in there and was like, oh, and then tied her up. and
Yeah.
had his wife on like this cord, this long cord that he would like every so often like slowly start releasing the tension, giving her more room to
Mhm.
move towards, Kim Yoo Bin. And here's Junu is like, oh, let her out. And then he goes to grab the cord, and then the dude's like coming at him with a knife, and he's got a gun. And I'm thinking, if you don't shoot this man, I swear.
Please. I'm like, I know the zombies will hear it, but shoot this man in the face, please. And my question, you brought an interesting question up because I kind of had the same question with like his wife. So how did he get her on that cord? Like, did she transform or was she already been and he tied her up beforehand? He brought her to that apartment and they kicked out the family or the family was gone and then he tied her up because he knew she was going to turn her into a zombie. Or what happened? How long has he been feeding people to this zombie woman? Because he even tells them, my wife is hungry. She hasn't eaten in days. And I'm like, days? This zombie apocalypse and this we haven't discussed how long it's been, but it's been over like 400 days
Yeah.
since the outbreak. So I'm wondering how many survivors have you come in contact with? And it's probably why the eighth floor is looking pretty empty.
Yeah, because he's literally fed all the eighth floor to his wife. Like, that's so messed up. So messed up. Well, yeah, and then I thought it was also interesting, like there's so many questions that this movie leaves you with, because if you think about character development, like for all we know, these people probably weren't even part of this apartment complex. That's probably where they ran from the street. So, and maybe he got his wife tied up because, he did it before she turned. Like, she's like, I don't want to eat you, honey. Tie me up. But then inevitably she ended up eating him anyway. So, and he was like, and he was okay with that. Now, I love my spouse.
Caressing her.
Seriously.
He was just like, it's okay.
No. See, me and Jam are happily married women, but let me explain something. The marriage does not transcend zombified. You are not, nowhere in our marriage vows did it ever say, I agree to honor, cherish, and allow you to eat me if you turn into a zombie. That's not what happened in my vows. And I know that I was at your wedding, so I know that's not what happened with yours. So,
and I was at your wedding.
Yep.
So, and we're not renewing our vows to say that either,
No.
because if the time comes, which hopefully it doesn't, you turn to a zombie, I'm shooting your ass.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
You, but
headshot. And I mean, look, I've learned from zombie movies, and plus, quite frankly, I don't think you can function without the brain anyway. So that's always my first shot. Just saying, first person shooter headshots. But so back to the craziness. So they do end up shooting this guy because, first of all, you got to give props to Kim Yoo Bin, because girl, that zombie was on her. She took the sheet and wrapped it around this woman's face and was holding her like that. And her hands were bound. So girl was like on it. But
she's a survivor.
She was a survivor. But back to the whole character development. This is a character-driven movie, but we don't know a lot about the characters. Like for instance with Kim Yoo Bin, where was her family? Did they ever see like what happened with her family? Like we don't know. We just see that she's in the apartment.
That's it when they had their private conversation either.
Yep, she didn't say anything about what happened to her family. So that in itself was kind of like, I wish that we had gotten more backstory or a flashback for her. We know where his family went. They went to his dad's place of work, and I guess they were trying to get signal, so they opened the door, and then they got overrun by zombies, and when we heard it on the phone, they pretty much got eaten. So we know that his family is dead, but where's her family? Does she have a family? I mean, I really would have loved to know like more about that, because quite frankly, the only characters that we've seen were her and Jun-oh. We saw the police woman that the zombies ended up getting. And
we saw one more character that you're not thinking of.
Yes, the very beginning, the guy from next door down the hall whose brother bit him and he was turning while he like literally comes into Jenna's place right before he turns, and he's like, let me use your bathroom, and Jenna's like, nah man, you need to leave.
I was thinking the other character I was thinking of was Kim's plant, because she takes care of it, but also
cacti,
so I love the transformation. That first transformation scene where we actually see like the zombie, like a person bitten by the zombie, how they transform. It was the way his body contortion. It was like breakdancing. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh. I was
They
like,
had like
okay,
cracking sounds,
damn.
like the sound effects were like cracking.
Yeah.
I was like,
But I felt myself kind of like, okay, yeah.
you gotta dance a little as a zombie. But I let Juno's eyes were like, oh. He's just like, my problem with that is that for somebody who plays a lot of games, he should know to like stab him through the head like immediately. He's like, before he even had a chance to rush you, we're like, oh no, you turn it now. Like,
No, for somebody who plays a lot of games, you should have known not to open the damn door.
this is true. This is very true. And he was trying, and I will say he was trying to get him out. He wasn't like, what's happening out there? Because, you see some movies where they're like, hey, what's happening? Or like Zombieland. I love Zombieland. But in the initial scene where the girl comes over because, she got bit, dude lets her in. And he's like, I guess he thought she was hot, had a crush on her, whatever. And, she's bit. And like, you would think logically, nah, lady, you got to go. I can't let you in my house. But
the first time she says, yeah, there's this homeless man who tried to take a bite out of me.
Yeah.
Get out.
Bye. Well, but with Juno, it was so frustrating because he was looking out the window when this girl, like the school girl, came home and she's like, Mom, Mom or Oma. And, her mother's standing right here and the mother's walking. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, crap, the mother's about to eat this young girl. I didn't think
That's what I thought. The mom had a hatchet.
Yeah, she had a hatchet. But she goes over and she hugs her daughter. And her daughter just like starts eating her. And Juno's looking at this from his balcony. He's like mortified. But yet you open the door when somebody knocks on the door.
Thank you. Common sense, people.
Because we've already established that Juno is probably the stupidest person in this movie. So
I mean, he displays sometimes where he's either smart or just dumb. There's no in between. Like when he used his drone to kind of see what was going on, when he went and actually farmed for food and stuff.
Yeah.
And the way he wrapped up, I think there were towels around his feet so he wouldn't make noise. It's like, okay, smart. Why are you so dumb in other aspects?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because like he did have tech like skills. He did have the knowledge to fix the door. He had the knowledge, like you said, to camouflage himself and put, the towels on his feet. But yet he still had no foresight into not yelling, making lots of noise. He was basically alerting these zombies all day long where the heck he was. Like you see Kim Yoo-bin's like, shh. Quiet, and even she was calling him an idiot from her apartment. So yeah, that was interesting. But the gunshot, them shooting, I'm gonna call him by his actor name because I don't remember his character's name. So Bae-soo, he, like, as he's embracing his wife, they get shot. They use the gun on the wife and him. Well, of course, all the zombies hear this. So it's not safe for them to stay in the apartment. So they decide they're going to go for the roof. So they run to the roof because they hear a helicopter. They're trying to get to the helicopter to signal the helicopter. Mm-hmm. Now the problem in every movie I've ever seen, every horror movie, something's going to go down on the roof. Like you go to the roof, you basically trapped yourself. There's nowhere else for you to go. If you can't make it off by a helicopter, you are SOL. So that's almost exactly what happens. They get to that roof. The helicopter's gone. They put a few things against the door, but it's a horde of zombies putting all of their, body, weight on this door. So these zombies are coming towards them, and they have the gun. They're shooting a few of them instead of shooting each other because initially they were going to kill each other. She wanted to kill basically commit suicide in the apartment because she knew the zombies were coming. Suicide. Yeah, but then they heard the helicopter. So they're on the roof. They use the gun instead of taking each other out. They use the last 3-4 bullets on the zombies, and it not really even headshot. Yeah, then it looked like oh well they're just screwed. Now, my question is this. This is just my question. Those zombies can move pretty damn fast. They're at the edge of the roof. The door is not that far from them. How the hell did that helicopter have a chance to come up and shoot those zombies before the zombies got to them?
These are the questions that I have also asked. It was like there was so like it was such a long amount of time to where I thought, okay, this is going to be one of those endings where they just I don't know jump off the roof and kill themselves, or a helicopter is going to come out of nowhere. And
Yep.
of course, the helicopter came. I'm like, the zombies had all this time like to run up to them, and it made no sense because even when they were shooting at them, the zombies were still pretty far away. So clearly they didn't want them that badly because they weren't rushing enough to
Nope.
get to them.
They were not. It was just crazy to me. It was crazy. And I'm like, those zombies were not trying. They were not trying. And even when they were getting them one by one onto the helicopter, and the two dudes are just like, you can't tell me one damn zombie. They just jump and be like, I'm going for it. Not
They
one.
had ample amount of time.
They did.
And they were lazy.
Yeah, they were pretty
I think
bad.
I think what had happened was they saw them and they were like, "Oh, we have this in a bag. They have nowhere to go, so we can tease them a
We
little
can
bit."
just do a light run.
Yeah, exactly.
A
Like a
light
jog.
like, we got time. I mean, hey, maybe we should discuss who's going to get what part first. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I got the thigh. I'm willing to share.
But then, when they got saved, I also started thinking back to the people on the 8th floor. And then what about the people on floors 1 through 6? And, are there other survivors? Because they're like, well, we're here to save the survivors of the apartment complex. And I'm thinking, why did you take so long? But anyway, it's like, okay, so you're coming to save these people, right? But you only took the 2 main characters and you're like flying off. What about the other people? Did you drop, are there units down there going in the building, cleaning it out? What's happening? I'm really confused on that. So
Yeah, and there's a weird part because the crazy guy with the zombie wife, he does tell him that there are rescue teams. The news has said that there are going to be rescue teams, and you do see like maybe 2 or 3 helicopters flying off. But my question is, if you know that there are survivors, because they said they use social media to find like the hashtags for the people living there to find survivors. So if you know that in general, why didn't you just deploy people to come shoot? Or you could just be shooting at zombies from above. Don't wait for like survivors to tell you, hey, I'm here. Just go down there and start shooting and clear them out on your own, and then go find survivors.
Yep.
If Kim and John, because that's what I'm gonna call them, if Kim and John could like beat these zombies with a golf club and a small little pickaxe or whatever she had.
Yeah, a pickaxe. I think it was a pickaxe.
I know it can work. What were you guys doing this whole time?
I mean, I can't argue with that. I really don't. I don't know what kind of military operation they were running because, like, I'm like if he had actually, I think he did that on what? I'm like, I need to survive on like day 5 or day 10. It was early. What took you so long to get to these people?
It was early.
What took you so long to get to them? It's like, okay, we know dudes in the apartment. Let's let him hold out for 400 days. If that man makes it, he can get on the boat. We need survivors in this organization. We need to see how tough he is. But where we live, that probably would happen too. We'd be in our houses and then be like, "Yeah, we're sending people any day now."
Yep, any day now.
Any day now.
Well, I mean, for the most part, I think it'd be safer for me to wait in the house anyway. Nobody knows I'm here. I'm pretty quiet. I don't do much. So,
yeah. Well, it's hard to get to me too. I'm on the 3rd floor. I don't think zombies want to actually work that hard. We don't have an elevator in our building. It literally is like the stairs from Big Bang Theory. You start walking around, go up the stairs. They'd be like, "No, it's too much for me." Go back downstairs. Hell, I feel that way anyway.
So I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
So one, when John was, when they were climbing the stairs to go to the roof, and he had the bicycle, and he was trying to fend them off with the bicycle, because at first he tried to use a fire hose and nothing worked out of that, and then he used a bicycle to hold him off so she could get to the roof. Did you not think he was going to die?
Yeah. Or at least he's
Yeah.
gonna get bitten.
Or bit.
Because some of the zombies were at the bottom, so he was holding the bike here, but they were like under it too. So I thought his leg would at least been bitten.
Yeah, or like his fingers. His fingers are right there in
Yep.
their face. Like, you guys did want to take a bite, have a little
No,
light snack.
they want the whole meal, like the whole thing. We can't
Okay.
do this. Is not sample day at Costco. No, we have to have the whole thing. That's what,
Uh-huh.
that's
And
that's
that's
what
how he got away.
That's how he got away, because they wanted a whole. He was a whole snack. He was not going to be a sample. No nibbling today, John.
Yeah, you guys wanted the cake and eat it too, but then you got none. So,
Yep.
in my second question to you, so were they bombing parts of the city? Because you saw the explosions. Or the parts of the city just exploding, or were they bombing it? I didn't really understand that part.
I think they were bombing it because you saw the helicopters flying that way. They were dropping bombs in those areas. But, because I mean, we don't know if they started. Okay, so let's be real. If this is real life, they were saving the big corporation people first, and then they were coming for the poor people. That's what took so damn long. That's why they weren't saved immediately in those apartment complexes, because their rent was low. So they were like, but no, we got to sign these guys because these guys have money, and they contribute to the government. And these guys, they pay their taxes, but I mean, they only make $5 an hour, so we can go get them later. That's what that was about. So yeah, I think that they were bombing as distractions, probably to rescue some bigwig people first, and then they came back for who's ever left, the leftovers. That's what. Because I was thinking about that. Because I mean, honestly, they weren't doing a good job rescuing all the other people from Jen O's building. Like, first of all, what about Kim Yoo Bin's building? Were there any survivors over there? Like, did they look?
We never got that, because for the most part we didn't see too much of what was going on in her area either. So It was all about John's, I guess, perspective.
Well, and then realistically, I think in South Korea, they probably just would have bombed everything. Like, screw getting the survivors. Why risk bringing more of the virus back by having our guys be bit? No, we're just going to go ahead and drop bombs and kill everybody. That's how you wipe it out. Wipe everybody out.
I mean, funny enough, you say that, but me and Groove were talking about either like zombies or aliens or whatever kind of entity coming down here. They would legit, it's like, okay, it's concentrated in this area. Let's bomb it.
Just
Forget
bomb
it. Like, screw it.
No, we don't need to save anybody. We got enough people on the planet. It's fine.
Exactly. There are like 8 billion people on this planet. We're not going to miss like a few 100,000.
Yeah, well, in Korea, they'll save everybody in the blue house. That's their version of the White House. They'll save the prime minister. Everybody over there will be fine. And then they'll be sitting drinking their Mai Tais wherever the heck they are. And you're like, you know what? I guess we should just bomb everything and start over. So, like, it's all good. I love how North Korea was a safe haven. People were like running into North Korea. It was in passing. The only reason I think that's funny is because there's another zombie movie I watched where people were doing the same thing. They were like, we're going to North Korea. I guess the zombies don't want to go to North Korea either.
I mean, okay, so let's be honest. These zombies were already pretty smart. So they're not going that way.
Yeah, they're like, nah, we're not even going down that route. I'm like, we need to be free. I'm not going to be told when I can eat people. But no, this movie was a mess. I really did enjoy it though. It was not a bad movie. These are just the questions that we have. It was very enjoyable. There were parts that were kind of slow burn, but I think we needed that because we needed to see what Jeno was going through. He was alone. He was, he had no contact. He lost power, I believe. Or no, he lost Wi-Fi signal, all signal.
He lost Wi-Fi signal. He spilled the last of his water.
Yep.
Which sucked. And of course they lost water as well, so he couldn't get it from the sink or anything. And he was low on food. And he just started, doing what I believe I would do in that situation.
Yeah.
Just drinking.
Yep, he was drinking alcohol. His daddy had an open bar. He was like, sorry, Dad. He was like, vodka, gin, like everything. His dad was stocked up. My only problem with that, though, is that alcohol does not keep you hydrated, and you don't make very good choices, like informed decisions, when you're that drunk. But I will say, for somebody who was starving, he was in pretty good running shape, because I mean, he only had like Nutella, the pack of ramen that she gave him, like little for 400 days. Damn, like that's.
Oh, also, I know we didn't touch on this. 400 days, no running water.
Yeah.
Where did you guys like poop and pee?
She probably she probably had a bucket, because that girl was like. She was I kind of feel like she was a survivalist, because she had the chair attached to the door and stuff, so she could hear like a system if they came. She had it where she could rig it and like literally like pull it back and then hit their ass. So
she was on it. She had her whole tent set up and everything, and she rationed her water.
So she was on it. I did appreciate the fact that Jun-Oh did go into the apartment and get the walkie-talkies, even though he didn't know how to use it. She's like, don't push the button while you're talking to me, because he's like freaking out. He's like, hello. I can't talk to you if
also,
you're gonna hold the button.
Another problem, when he went into that apartment, I hated that he checked the fridge and not the pantry. Like, you should not be looking for perishable goods at this time. I'm sorry. That's just where my mind went. So why'd you do that? What were you looking for?
He wasn't thinking. Well, then I hate that he walked in and saw feet, threw something in and didn't move, not thinking there might be more rooms in this apartment. There could be a zombie in another area. But no, this one's not moving. So, hey, I'm good. I'm like,
hey, range, I'm safe.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But no, we did like the movie. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie. Not to say that I didn't have some questions, of course. But I mean, it was fun. And I would have loved to have seen, because I like the way they did it, where at the end they had the pop-ups of everybody with their pictures and say that they're survivors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird because they restored the internet almost like, or they restored service when they were on that chopper.
Yeah, when they got rescued. Like, not before.
Yeah. So it was just so strange to me. It's like, okay, we're safe. Oh, look, I'm getting messages now. Cool.
I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. I mean, well, okay, so like, we know for a fact that there's not a lot of realism in many zombie movies. It's just not. And thank God for that. Because if we have a zombie outbreak, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. But I mean, I already feel like with COVID, we have a zombie outbreak most of the time. But I don't know. I felt like so many things that happened in the movie were convenient too, even though I really liked it. Like him being ready to kill himself and her stopping him saying he was hungry and her sending food over to him finding the walkie-talkies. Of all things, he found walkie-talkies so they could talk to each other. That to me, I mean, just having the neighbor to have those just, was very convenient. So I thought, and I guess they had to do that, or how else would the characters ever hear each other's voices and have prolonged conversations? They make a plan, so, but it just seems so convenient in a way,
Yeah, it is weird because he went to essentially this, he grabbed the walkie-talkies from somebody who was a climber, a survivalist, and you didn't grab like really anything else of value besides that and like Nutella. But I mean, I get it, but if you had the amount of time that you thought you had, you could have rummaged and found a little bit more than that.
I agree. Now, I understand that you were interrupted by the zombie. I get that. But you had a few minutes and you passed a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I don't understand that.
And he had time to actually like pull down the sheets and actually look at the dead person's face. I'm like, why'd you do that? Why aren't you,
And it was a girl too. It wasn't the guy. Mm-hmm. So that's when he kind of was like, wait a minute, that's not the brother. And then when he did that, I guess to add on to that, when he was fighting the zombie off, why didn't the other zombies hear that and come running?
Good question. Because they're their senses are so heightened that they notice noises like that. So if you
Yep.
hear one, it's almost like wolves howling. It's like you hear a wolf howl. If I'm a wolf, I'm coming to you. What's going on? Like, there's food nearby. Okay, cool. Or maybe that zombie was just really selfish and he just wanted to have John all to himself.
That's got to be what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
the zombies were smart but lazy. That's basically what I get
Yep.
out of that. But overall, though, this movie, cinematography wise, I really, really like this movie. They have the wide shots were great. The zombies look believable. They look like zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Korea is like on point with how they make zombies look. They will fucking scare the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
I liked everything about it. I really like the acting. I mean, if you look at Jun-Oh and Kim Yoo-bin, they're cute. They're relatable people. These characters are relatable. They're adorable. They're just in a really messed up situation. So I really enjoyed that, and I love the fact that we didn't have to have this long, drawn out conversation about what happened to cause the virus. Because obviously,
Yeah, I like that too.
yeah.
Like all you need to know is they're zombies. And I'm like, cool.
And
That's
just
it. That's all
don't
you
get
need to know.
eaten, and nobody's safe because the fireman got it, and you just saw the policewoman get eaten. So no, but just don't go outside.
Yeah.
Just don't. So
And one more thing that I really enjoyed, the intro and the outro of the movie, like the way it's done. It was very creepily done. It reminded me of like if Walking Dead could do better.
yeah, I used to be a big Walking Dead fan because again, I like the zombie genre, but after a while, you're just like, I can't. It's just too much for me. Like as the seasons kept going, I'm like, okay, something's need to
Yeah.
give here.
Out of 3 freaks, I would give it about a 2.5 freaks.
I'm with you. I'm giving it a 2.5 freaks too. I think that half is probably due to all the questions and the laziness of the zombies.
Yes, I agree.
So, there you go. We love this movie. 2.5 freaks worth.
2.5.
But we want to know what you guys think. So leave us a comment below and let us know. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to Quarter Life Jam. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the nerd bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.